All right, welcome back. Well, I've been joined by a person of ALHAJI, YUSUF DANTALLE, and we'll be talking. I told you he's the chairman of the Inter-Party Advisory Council, and we'll be talking about the various institutions of government and try to have an overview around this area. But first, you're welcome to Big Talk.
Thank you, my brother. It's nice to have you again.
Yeah, it has been a while.
As a farmer, I'm always on the farm. So once in a while, I come into Abuja to do a few things and then drive the activities of my back and then my party.
Well, very important. Let's delve into the conversation so far we're in. When we look at a lot of people will say that the various institutions of Nigeria and around Nigeria are failing. We have more than 800 governmental institutions, agencies, parastatals of government, but then the output that we're seeing right now, even from this angle, tend to be infinitesimally low. Let's assess some of these institutions of government. How did we get to this point to start with?
Okay, thank you. I will not look at it from only the government institutions. I will start holistically looking at it from the entire environment. Who are Nigerians, the family institution, the groups, and then how it cascades into from the smaller group to the larger group. So who are the people occupying this position? They are Nigerians. We are in a society that so many things are lacking, maybe because we don't really understand or we no longer study the history. We don't know where we are coming from, and then maybe that is affecting where we need to be. So we are in a society that today people just look at the end. Nobody look at the process, and it's a very bad one. Today we don't question how people emerge, maybe become millionaires or billionaires overnight. But the moment you have it, you are just there, and then they begin to give you all sorts of names. So it is the same people, okay, who failed from the family level, from the business level, from the religious level institutions that are moved into the government institution, from security to judiciary to politics. So that doesn't mean there are not exceptions. There are exceptions, but on a larger scale, I think we have a lot to do generally as Nigerians to maybe evaluate our thinking, and the government too should have a lot to do in creating awareness, and that is why we have raised great need to have real people drive the system of governance, so that we don't produce criminals or people of questionable character who will eventually go and contaminate system the more. I was reading something just this evening how the security agencies arrested some members of the police force and members of the military who are into trading of arms to terrorists. That tells you, okay, how did these people get into the system in the first place? Who are they? Did they pass the test? Okay, what character do they possess? So some of these things we need to begin to look at. Who are the imams? Who are the pastors? How did they emerge? Who are our traditional rulers? How did they become what they are? At times you hear someone maybe a professor, okay, in quote, or a PhD holder talking, you begin to question, how did this man get to where he is? Did he actually write WAEC? We are in a system where people pay. Today in secondary school, I remember sometimes back, my sister's son came to me for support to write WAEC, and so after giving him what he needs, he said, Uncle, please, there's still remaining ones. What's the money for logistics? I now asked, what is logistics? He said, that is what, so at the end of the day, I come to discover that this is what is paid to enable them embark on examination malpractice, that even the invigilators and then those who are the students writing the exams, they are all always in normal process. So it's all about recently, I don't know which of the state, that a principal, I think in the southeastern state, that a principal, it was on air, how a principal, the school teachers was bribed to enable somebody have a position of prefect. Okay, recently too, you just see what happened. I think that this story of a student that who wrote JAMB and committed suicide
Yeah.
because he believed that he made the papers, and then until the head of the examination body came out to admit and apologize to Nigerians, and that is some serious anachronism and aberration. Okay, so these are things we need to look at the whole system, not just one. You understand? So we have a lot of work to do as Nigerians. Now look at the proliferation of so-called Yahoo and Yahoo Plus money rituals. Recently, I saw another video recently, yesterday, how somebody who is supposed to be a leader in the societies, I think it's Enugu State, a traditional ruler who buried people alive, including pregnant women. And so these things are all indicating the porosity of the system, not just one. So we need to go back to the drawing board. The educational institution, the religious institution, we need to begin to look at how far have we gone, how have these things, the journey so far, how have we fared. So, and then the democratic institution, then looking at political systems too, and then at least try to evaluate, x-ray democracy. You understand? The real meaning of democracy, okay, the ideal a type of democracy and the real democracy that we have in Nigeria. Does it, if you juxtapose them, what do you get? So these are the things we need to look at.
All right, let's even talk in terms of this blame game syndrome, which has tended to play out in Nigeria. While we'll say that the government has been largely responsible for a lot of the decadence, even among the various institutions of government, this the government are quick to point fingers also at their predecessors who were able to occupy offices, and the predecessors are also quick to point fingers, and this blame game keep going on. But if we want to place this and say, at this point in time, this is where we got it wrong, we'll begin to ask, at what point did we get this institutional decadence and all of these charlatans that we see right now, even among our administrative cadres? At what point did we get to this point?
You see, it is funny when you seek the people's mandate to lead them, okay, because we can't all be there. You need a few, it's just one person or a few that will be there to pilot the affairs of the people on behalf of the people for the benefit of the whole people afterwards. But yes, when you blame, maybe in the beginning that, oh, I met this, I met that, I met this, but you are there because you have the capability to transform and make things better. Yes, even though you are not expected to perform miracles. Okay, let's look at what is happening today. The government is doing what they can, yes, and there are blames about, okay, the previous administration of Muhammadu Buhari. Fine. The government of Ahmed Bola Tinubu came up with the withdrawal of subsidy. Fine, it's okay. There's nothing wrong in embarking on changes, but before doing that, you should meticulously evaluate the after effect of what, because the benefit, whatever changes you are embarking on, is meant to affect the people positively. Yes, there will be sacrifice, but then there should be a way to cushion the effect of whatever policies the government is going to embark on. I'm a farmer. As a farmer, if you look at, I am into oil palm development, plantation, and then the gestation period of oil palm, yes, it will tell you, okay, it's 4 or 5 years, but then what you will get at the end of 4 or 5 years might not give you the economic benefit. So within this period of gestation, how do you survive? How do you sustain the farm? How do you take care of weeding? How do you fertilize? How do you take care of, or how do you control pests? So some of these things, today, we, in all honesty, the salaries of any Nigerian, or maybe majority of Nigerians who are both in this, the private and public sector, cannot give them the basic needs of life, including you. You understand? So some of these things, at times I wonder, how do people who are salary and how do they survive it? the cost of fueling, the cost of energy, cost of even generators, and so many things, communication and all that. So all I'm saying is that we should, while trying to solve the problems in the long run, in the interim, there should be a sort of cushioning effect, palliative, that at least the people will not really feel, even though they will feel it won't be so so destructive or so painful as it is. Because I have some people in my office, they sleep in the office from Monday to Friday before going home because they can't afford, and we do not have the wherewithal to begin to give them what we don't have, because we don't have what to give them. So it's like that. So I think blame game is not really it. Yes, it's public knowledge. So many things went wrong. But we took the mantle of leadership. We seek that leadership because we believe we can do better. So it should be reduced, and then we should focus on what is possible. Nobody will live for what was or what would have been. You live now to make tomorrow better.
All right. Now, let's try to bring this conversation and narrow it down to a particular institution of government, which has to do with the political institution. And we'll begin this evening with INEC, which is the Independent Electoral Commission. INEC have come out to say that they will be introducing AI to the electoral system in order to further boost integrity and also boost the confidence of Nigerians in the electoral process right now. But this is to you as a person. How confident are you even with the AI integration in the electoral system?
Thank you. First, I will start by commending INEC under Professor Mahmoud Yaku. INEC have done so well. Yes, even though most Nigerians will look at it as this. INEC work or operate within set of rules provided for them. So they are not expected to do anything outside the Constitution and the Electoral Act and maybe the election guidelines. So, excuse me, whatever that is not provided in the Constitutional Electoral Act, INEC cannot work outside. You see, if you look at the elections conducted by INEC, especially the 2023 general elections, this is the only election in Nigeria that sitting governors lost senatorial election. It has never happened. This is the only election that Okada riders who had nothing to give the people, taxi drivers, emerged victorious.
Tomato sellers.
Tomato sellers, yes. You understand?
Yeah.
That doesn't mean the election is perfect. No election anywhere in the world is perfect. You only have free, fair, and credible elections. So, having said this, so for INEC, trying to embark or develop, set up a unit, okay, to advance the use of technology, or to employ the use of technology for election is a welcome development. The world is going global. You are able to do what you are doing with the aid of technology. So on our phones now we have AI doing so many things. We have a lot of things going on, okay? Even science, so many things that we use AI to do it. So, of course, whatever INEC is going to use AI to do is empirical, is verifiable. It is not abracadabra. So it's something that we can, as Nigerians, see what they are doing with it. So for us, and for me as a person, it's a welcome development, okay? And we'll look at it, and we'll continue to evaluate it. Wherever INEC is wrong, of course, we'll come out to condemn, and then, okay, advise on what next to do. But wherever INEC have done well, we have to try to appraise their activities.
But a lot of Nigerians will say that the same lofty promises that INEC made is also, as an institution, the introduction of beavers and electronic voter system and all of this. But in most part of the country, we still have epileptic power supply in the country. In the country, we still have places that they still have poor internet services. As a matter of fact, there are places in Nigeria right now that they not even have internet provision All of this is still prevalent even in our current day and reality. Now, looking at all of this playing out right now, and the fact that whatever comes into Nigeria, the tendency of abuse taking it over or taking over it's still high. AI, for instance, in the academic space, we have academicians complaining seriously that most students don't read. They depend largely on AI. We've still not been able to master the AI. Beavers have not been perfected. We are moving from Beavers conversation right now. We've not come out to say if Beavers is going to be is going to work even for the Anambra State election. But right now we're moving to AI. Can this AI be trusted in order to take Nigerians to its El Dorado in terms of its political drive?
I want to repeat again what I said. There is no perfect system anywhere in the world. You attest to that. What INEC wants to do is to experiment. Okay? And Nigerians are watching. But I want to take you back to the issue of beavers. INEC has never complained that the beavers failed. No. You see, I want us to look at this. We have two bodies that conduct election in Nigeria, set up by the Constitution. Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, State Independent Electoral Commission, SIEC. Vote buying is an electoral malpractice, it's an aberration. But in elections conducted by INEC, people buy votes. You are aware, right?
Yeah.
Why do people buy vote? Because the votes count. Who is buying the votes? Not INEC. Who is selling the vote? Not INEC. It's Nigerians. That tells you there is vote to count. That is for INEC. In the elections conducted by State Independent Electoral Commission in Nigeria, have you ever heard of case of vote buying? No. You know why? Because there are no votes to buy. Because what happened with the SIEC is just coronation by state governors using the people who were the institution of our State Independent Electoral Commission. So we should give INEC pass mark. INEC conduct election. Only local government, which area council election conducted by FCT. Nobody, no political party have completely taken it all. That tells you that the INEC is doing something good. So we should support INEC to succeed, to improve the process of election. Do not forget that recently INEC sent numerous suggestion, review of the Electoral Act, what INEC need to the National Assembly, a proposal that if this must happen, even though yes, whatever all they sent to might not be perfect, but then INEC have sent wonderful proposal to the National Assembly. If we must get this right, we have to look at the laws and then improve upon A, B, C, D, E. One, like the transmission of election. That must be recognized by law. And where transmission fails, by the device and e-beavers or any other technology, this is what should be done. So until we look at the system, the IPAC under my leadership have made wonderful suggestions, proposals to be considered by the Joint Committee of the National Assembly on electoral reform, ranging from the conduct of election, all elections in one day, swearing in of a supposed winner of election, okay, allowing all litigations surrounding the election, to be exhausted before swearing in, okay? And then a few other wonderful proposals that we made to the National Assembly.
So what's stopping it from implementation?
No, it is not it is not for us to implement. It is for the people that we Nigerians voted to make laws on their behalf.
And in the failure of them not making this, IPAC can't do anything.
So be it, we are only advisory, so we do not have the wherewithal to either punish or authorize. No, we don't.
All right. So let's even look again into this institution, INEC, very formidable force to reckon with in Nigeria. But then, in election matters, when it has to do with the federating unit of Nigerians, a lot of Nigerians say they have given up hope when it has to do with the electoral umpire. And for others, they will say that INEC has overstayed its welcome, that we should begin to look for other ways to conduct election, probably through robotic and all of this. But in your own submission, do you think at this point that the INEC as an institution has outlived its stay?
I want to answer you by asking you, what are those things that INEC have done that make INEC outlive its...
Well, for 25 years, one will say, although I'm the one asking the question, but let me just put it in perspective. For 25 years, we'll begin to assess the impact of INEC to Nigerians' nascent democratical development. Have we come of age? Have we grown? Have we been able to succumb certain things? The answer is even closer to you because you are the IPAC chairman, so you understand these things better. When you look at the various elections across the federating unit, when we talk about the elections at the top tier of government, which has to do with the federal government, not talking about the state or the local government right now, but at the federal level, we've seen a lot of malpractices that has become a recurring phenomenon and a common decimal factor within the Nigerian body politics. And we're still having a challenge to take that out of the Nigerian body politics. In this particular case of a child becoming a child of 25 years, going to 26, we'll say this child is already preparing to get married because this child has entered the stage of adulthood. But INEC, a recurring phenomenon, has it overstayed its welcome?
No. INEC, for me, is a victim of the Nigerian situation. That is the way we see it. I don't even see that thing. Okay, if you say INEC is seeking election, in whose favor? Who benefits from that rigging? It's me, the politician. Who buy guns or other things for thugs? Who recruit thugs to disrupt the process of election? Me, the politician. Who goes to look for judges or corrupt judges to procure injunction, to stop or mar election or electoral process? Me, the politician. So we are not looking at the politicians. We are not looking at the judiciary. We are not looking at Nigerians. There's little that INEC can do. We are here in Nigeria. We have seen many elections that INEC have conducted, but some persons will go to the judiciary and the judiciary would make pronouncement and that ends it. So why are we not talking about the judiciary? Why are we not talking about the role of security agencies? Elections conducted in the Western democracy that we are copying. How many police do you see on the streets during election? Who and who do you see selling his vote or her vote? So you see, we must come back to discuss as Nigerians. We must look at how lucrative that these offices are. We are in a society that the moment someone emerges in any political office, banks will go after him to give him loans that he did not request. People set aside funds for litigation, that whether you win or you don't, you must serve so and so for litigation. Why? Why must we kill to lead? Why must we kill Why must we steal ballot box? What is there? So we have to redefine the democracy. We have to redefine our purpose of seeking public office. Why do we want to lead? Until we begin to shift from selfish interest to selfless service, we will still have a longer way to go. No matter what you do, it is not about INEC. It is about Nigeria. It's about the system. It's about the people. It's about the juiciness of this part of these offices. It's about all the sectors.
Well, if I get you correctly, ALHAJI, DANTALLE, you're saying that INEC is just a victim of circumstance.
Yes, that's my position. INEC is a victim. What magic I expect INEC? I'm not saying there are not unscrupulous elements in INEC. I'm not saying there are not staff in INEC that are bad, that are rotten. There are a lot of them. But they are Nigerians. It is still the same Nigerians. You understand? So we have to look at this picture holistically, not picking on one.
So you say we shouldn't overhaul INEC, right? We should rather overhaul Nigeria.
Yes, of course. We have to look at the democracy that way. If we truly want the development of this country, we have to look at the system holistically.
Well, that's quite interesting.
Why do we? Okay, we are talking about INEC. Why does a man who is electing his own representative want to collect money? You understand? Because he feel the man who is going there is going to make money. Is going for business. Why does a man who seek to lead on behalf of the people pay money to the people you have? Why? So these are things that we need to collectively look at.
Well, ALHAJI, let's look at this issue. When IPAC make proposition even to reform the electoral system in Nigeria, and IPAC allowed the lawmakers to do what they know how to do best, and some of these propositions and proposals don't get to see the light of day.
It is not about allowing, it's about having the powers.
Well, if they don't see the light of day and IPAC don't get to talk or probably demonstrate or come out with any means to ensure that, even if it's to boycott a system to ensure, don't you think that again this is this part of getting good suggestion and getting beautiful suggestion that is not coming to the limelight is a disservice to Nigerians that even that trust even the IPAC to be able to enforce some of its decision that will help rejuvenate our nascent democracy?
There is no provision in the law that if you boycott the system will not go on. It doesn't. If you boycott the system, it is your own decision to boycott the system. That is what the law says. It's very clear. You understand? So we must review the laws. We must review the laws. We must look at why we want these offices, in whose interest. Why is it so juicy? Why do we have to kill? Why do we have to pay? Why do we have to circumvent the laws? You get?
Well, quite interesting.
So you see, you don't solve a problem by addressing the symptoms of the problem. You have to look at the problem. Even though you have short-term measures, you should also work on the long-term measures, solutions to the problems. For instance, for every day, we see security or patrol vehicles, how Nigerian security system or the government purchase to Kano, all the big names in armory to combat security. Okay? But no one is even looking at who are the people. Why are they into this? Why do we have them coming up even though you are killing them? Where are they from? What is the rationale behind their actions? Who is paying them? We need to look at. It's not about shooting and killing and no, yes, that is a welcome development, at least a short-term solution. But we have
to long-term problem.
But to long-term solutions, who are these people who engage in terrorism? Who are their sponsors? We have had state governors. Recently, Borno State governor came out and said, Boko Haram is regrouping. Am I correct?
Yeah.
There were arguments, but it came to pass. We have situations. What is we have on one army general also recently, I saw it on social media too, how he claimed to have arrested the sponsors or the leaders of Boko Haram, but that he was suspended, he was arrested, suspended, dismissed. Nobody is looking at that. So you don't look at problems from the symptoms. You have not done anything. So every day we have kidnapping coming up. You see pictures of some miscreants being killed, 20, 30, motorcycle. You don't need to show us. Yes, you are working. But what we want is result. You understand? Nigerians want to live in peace. Nigerian farmers want to go to the farm. Nigerians in the villages want to go to school. The people in Benue want to go back to their homes. Those in Plateau want to go back to their homes. Yes, you are doing it, but we need to address, we need to begin to look at the real problems, not symptoms of problems. It's the same thing that is happening in all sectors.
Well, as we begin to wrap up and talking about political institutions right now, of course, you are being at the political front. You champion, and of course, the crown and the leadership rest on your shoulder when it has to do with all political parties in Nigeria. We should say you're the father of a political party right now in Nigeria. But
I'm the chief servant because I was elected to serve the people.
That's what we say. You're the father. Let's just go by the father of all. Okay, let's go by your word, the chief servant.
No.
All right. So the chief servant of all of the political parties in Nigeria, based on your own observation and overview, with what we've seen so far in the country, you've said INEC is just a victim of circumstance.
Correct.
And of course, we've tried to look at this conversation from a different angle.
Correct. But that does not
Exonerate
mean
INEC.
there are no bad elements in INEC.
All right. So when we look at all of this right now, will you say at this point that we are ready for a democracy as a country, or we should begin to look the other way around?
When you say the other way around, what's the other way around?
But probably a more unitary system of government, more monarchical system of government, more even you can even go with the totalitarian system of government. But democracy is just an option. It's just a vehicle. There are other ways that we can go. Should we as a country begin to look the other way around based on your own assessment?
No, what you are saying is like because your car had flat tire or the engine is smoking, you should throw it away and begin
for
to
25 years. For 25 years.
No, 25 years is not. 25 years is not enough in the history of our country. Nigeria is a very big country. Okay, the largest black nation in Africa or in the world. So what we are saying is let's do better. There is you can't compare a government that people on their own volition are allowed to choose who they want to lead them. But what I'm saying is clean the mess. Let's clean the mess. Let's be sincere to ourselves as Nigerians and do what is right. We must not force ourselves on the people. We must not deliberately, because a few individuals have the financial muscle or otherwise to circumvent the system. And the legislative arm that is supposed to be the cleanest of all should be above board. It is embarrassing, some of the judgments that we get from a few judicial officers. But that does not mean there are no sane and sound judicial officers. So we have to look at Nigeria. Are we being fair to ourselves? What legacy are we leaving behind for our children? What we are putting up today. People fought for this country. They laid their life for this country. People went to prison for us to have what we have today. Are we being fair to those people? Are we sustaining their legacies? Is this how they live? That one man will sit and then a public officer with about 750 mansion? 750 here in Abuja. It is an aberration. Now this is just one of hundreds. This is the only one that we know for now. So we must be fair to the system. We have no other country to call our own other than Nigeria. So there is no country anywhere in the world that can accommodate refugee problem of this country.
Well, ALHAJI, so you're saying despite the fact that Nigeria right now, democracy that we are practicing or claim to be practicing is more of an aristocratic system. It is more of the government of a selected few. It is more of, it's mixed with plutocracy and all of the crises. Shouldn't we just adopt one of these and make it legal, other than talking democracy at this point, if for 25 years we still cannot effectively deliver on democracy?
It's always best for me that the people choose who they want. Freely, conscientiously. Let Nigerians freely choose. Considering the divergent nature of Nigeria, culturally, religiously, okay, but let's sanitize the system. Let's make it better. This is my submission. I will not subscribe to any other system that will not give people freedom to choose who they want. But we must do it with fear of God. We must do it sincerely. We must do it following the ideals or the tenets of democracy as we borrowed from where the Western societies.
Even though we are not effectively utilizing it.
You see, I'm not a pessimist. I believe everything is possible. We can, if we choose to. It's for Nigerians to sit down and we want this. Let's get it done. There's a difference between difficulty and impossibility. Yes, doing the right thing is difficult, but it's possible. We can do it. The current president is one man I know, His Excellency Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu. He's one man who have fought for democracy in this country. Today, God has given him the mantle of leadership. He is in the best position to ensure that democracy survives and is better, that Nigerians get results for democracy that he fought for himself and the few others who are no longer alive and those who are alive. It's a challenge to him to have us to enthrone the best form of governance, administration, as transparently as possible with fear of God. Today that God has given him. It is a test that God put him there. And I strongly believe at the end of the day, he will do what is right for Nigerians.
Well, it's a good way to say thank you so much, ALHAJI YUSUF DANTALLE, for finding our time to be with us this evening. Well, viewers, it has been an interesting conversation so far. Well, You know, the big talkways sometimes don't want to let the talk to end, but of course we must leave the stage right now. Well, my name is Godwin Sunday. Remember that you can also follow the conversation on our various social media handle currently showing on your screen, and you can also download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app from your Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. Always remember that peace and unity are the pathways to progress.